Welcome to the long-range forecast for you as a Capricorn, taking you through to the end of August 2017. This month of August sees an exciting and rare total solar eclipse make landfall on the US mainland. And as it arrives, it loosely forms a wonderfully supportive grand trine with retrograde Saturn and Uranus. And with Venus moving opposite Pluto in T-square with Jupiter, itself the focus of several triangles formed as Saturn trines with the Sun and Mars, even Mercury turning retrograde will find it hard to spoil this celestial party. Now here is a forecast that Jonathan recorded that will help guide you through these events.
The eclipse, which is visible in some parts of the world, is suggesting that you are at a period in your life during which major issues are coming to the surface and major challenges are arising. If all that sounds like a heavy recipe for a difficult month, keep listening. It's not actually bad at all. It's very encouraging, but you do need to understand what it is that the sky is now effectively obliging you to tackle and deal with, and to see it in the right perspective. There are, in this world, a series of systems which we all as individuals have to interface with on a day-to-day basis. There are internal systems, our digestive systems, our nervous systems, and most of the time they get on with their business and they leave us to get on with ours, and every so often they make their presence felt. And when they do, we have to stop whatever we're doing and pay attention to what our body is telling us. And in just the same way as at times like that, everything gets turned upside down as our priorities shift and we realise that we are vulnerable to or a victim of all sorts of factors within our own physical bodies which we can't fully control and we have to honour somehow or pay respect to. So the same applies with the legal system or the financial system or the institutions and organisations which form such a strong part of the world we live in. Most of the time they leave us alone too, and every so often they make their presence felt, and we realise, oh, there are laws I have to honour, there are financial obligations I have to meet, there are forms I have to fill in, there are ways in which I have to hold myself responsible. And when that happens, we often feel very small, and we often feel a bit as though we're disempowered. And particularly when there appears to be some kind of a crisis arising, very often the sensation is one of getting terribly serious. Life loses its light edge, and there is this feeling of being weighed down and of having to find some kind of way to reconcile what we want to do with what the system wants us to be a part of, or how it wants us to conform to it. And invariably some kind of sacrifice has to be made to or for the system. If our digestive system plays up, we have to watch what we eat. If our nervous system plays up, we have to watch what we allow to play on our nerves. And if our financial system plays up, then we have to go see the bank manager and find some way of keeping the accountants happy. And if our legal system gives us a reason to recognise its existence, then we have to find some way of honouring and obeying the laws by which we're expected to live. So, there's nothing particularly wrong or even abnormal about the way in which your need to interface with various quote-unquote systems at the moment is now becoming such a sort of prime focus of attention. But there is a feeling of awkwardness about it, and if you're not careful, then a lot of the next few weeks is going to be spent feeling as if you're being backed into a corner, feeling as if your opportunities are being taken away from you, feeling as if you're somehow being obliged to do what you don't especially want to do, because if you don't, something bigger than you will take its toll on you. But actually, all systems are negotiable and more flexible than we imagine, and there is a very constructive, positive side to the way in which you're now being asked to recognise what you owe something to, and recognise too that it owes something to you. There can be and will be some give and take. There's every reason to feel that what you'll end up with as as this period unfolds is a much better relationship with the world that you're a part of, the inner world and the outer world. There are factors in your world which have become unhealthy, which have been allowed for too long to fall into bad habit patterns or into familiar ways of being which have worked reasonably well but have actually not been as well set up as they could have been. So the result is that sort of damage is being done, but it's kind of slight minor accumulative damage, and so it's easy to ignore. And now you can see where the oil needs to go onto the wheels, where the cogs need to be greased, where things are grating and they shouldn't be grating. And the recognition is, something needs to be taken apart, rebuilt and changed. And the feeling is, do I really want to go through this? And that feels to me rather like I've got to dismantle something or stop something. And maybe you have, just briefly and temporarily, got to realign and readjust. But as a result of doing so you will find yourself then becoming part of a situation which is much more healthy, much more natural, much more productive, much more the way that it needs to be, and much more of a way that feels right to you. So that is the ongoing drama, and it's that which lies behind the financial concerns that you're now experiencing, and the ups and downs in your emotional life, and the general feeling of insecurity that you've got. It's a growing recognition that something in the way that you interface with the world needs to be changed. Yes, it does need to be taken seriously, but no, it doesn't have to be worried about. And yes, you can look forward to a very delightful outcome to all that you go through over the next few weeks.